Hey guys, Robin Reed here, self-sabotage coach, where we identify the mind control and manipulation that keeps you stuck, broke, and in the trenches. Ugh. I want to talk to you guys about masculinity. This is a topic that every time I post about it, the haters come out. It is unbelievable why there is a true, tangible war on masculinity. And I gotta think, why? So, there's this toxic masculinity. I'm gonna tell you, that is the war. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity, right? Masculinity is not toxic. There's people that do toxic shit, but they're not, that doesn't mean masculinity, which, think about that. That is the male essence, right? Nothing about that's toxic, right? Judge people for their actions, not who they are in the essence, or put stereotypical labels across the entire, male gene pool. So, there's no toxic femininity. There's no toxic plumbers, toxic homosexuality, toxic, insert label. So this is a war. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was at a little cafe the other day, and this man, he's a male, born male. By the way, there's only two genders, so let's stop that. That's ridiculous. Male and female. This man, born a male, approached me wearing makeup. He was as wide as he was tall, wearing a dress and combat boots and hair braided and lipstick and makeup. This person was so colorful. And I just kind of looked at him and just kind of took him in, this person, and he just beamed at me. I looked at him in his eyes. I saw his true spirit. I saw his beauty. And he just smiled at me. And he's like, "Hi there, what can I get you?" And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And so, on one level, I'm really happy we live in a day and age where an adult, so that's another key distinction, not a child. This agenda about chopping parts off kids and giving them hormone blockers, that's another video. That is evil, and that is wrong. And that needs to be stopped. And we need to war up on people doing that. But an adult who is born one gender and wants to live as the other gender, consciously, and do whatever they want to their body and show up however they want, I think that's wonderful. It's great that we live in a world where that person doesn't have to fear as much, at least, being beat up or killed. And I know there's some statistics on that, and I'm not making light of that. I'm just saying the world is evolving, that people can show up the way they want. And I don't think we're there yet. I know there's some racist shit going on out there, and there's still some real evil and hatred and a lot of projecting going on, and that's sad. But we're getting there. And so, but is that man masculine? I guess it depends on how do you define masculinity. On one level, I'd say no, because I would say that doesn't mean he's not deserving of respect, kind, love, and all things every other human's deserving of. But is he masculine? No, he's not. Because what is the purpose of masculinity? What is the definition of masculinity, of males? The male is to protect the tribe. It is to provide. The males protect the women protect the children, and the children is truthfully what they're after with the pedophilia. That's a whole nother video. God, that is evil at its core. You can trace that back. But this ongoing conversation around masculinity, I think is relevant, but I think there also needs to be a baseline. Get rid of the war on it. Let's come from a place of love. Males are not toxic. They're amazing. They're wonderful. We are not perfect. We do horrible shit, and we repent and bend a knee and ask for forgiveness, and we do our work, and we make amends. And a lot of times we have to make restitution in the form of jail or fines or things that we have to live with. I have done things in my past that scarred me, and I had to do all that. Make amends, make restitution, and I did that. And if a male doesn't do that in previous times, well, then he's set aside. He's cast out of the village. And so I think it's such a multi-part conversation. It's no one thing. I'd like to create some baselines that I want to war up on this whole toxic masculinity thing. That angers me. And I think that when I check into that anger, that comes from a place of deep, like sovereign, it's like sacred anger, you know? It's not violent angry. It's sacred angry. It comes from a passion and love for who we are as men and how far we've come and still with a heart for those that are hurting. But masculinity, we gotta dig down and return to the rites of passage for boys. You know, you are a man. You know, that's where these rituals of old that we've kind of lost connection to. I know the bar mitzvah is still there. That's very beautiful. The Mexican people do the quinceañera for the girls. You know, there's still some of these things that exist, but it's rare. It's rare. There's not this grand, triumphant celebration of, son, you are now a man, and you will be in the ways of men. You know, I think the Spartans had this right. They took the boy, started taking the boy away from his mom, you know, at about 7 or 8, and they started training him. And around 12, they put a sword or a spear in his hand and said, don't come back for 3 days until you bring us a dead wolf. And if you don't, you're either going to die out there, and if you refuse to go, the men will take you to another place and they'll kill you. If a boy did not go through his rite of passage, the elders of the tribe would kill him. That's, yeah. I'm not suggesting we kill our children. I'm just saying they did this because they knew that a man that didn't go through his rite of passage, a man that was infantile, wasn't grown up, wasn't mature, didn't learn the ways of masculinity, threatened the entire tribe. Threatened the entire tribe. So this is not about sexual orientation. This isn't about how you dress or how you show up, puffing up your chest. I'm not talking about macho. But masculinity has some core values to it. And I think the world is at this point where we're like, okay, I can get behind that, but what are those core values? What are those core values? For me, it's protection, it's strength, it's provision, it's kind of a warrior king essence, and where the women really help me in that is helping me use my heart, right? Connecting to spirit, knowing that I'm loved, affirmation, guidance of the stars. Women have this sixth sense to them that is just super sexy and beautiful. And, you know, it's good for a man to be in touch with his violence, to be on that edge of rage. It's his competition, it's his purpose, it fuels his testosterone. You know, a man needs to understand and be in touch with the war that's in him, that's in his heart. It's a good thing. It's such a good thing. We need to be ready. And I see men nowadays that are losing in touch with that because they're scared of it. They've not been taught how to use it. It's not been brought out in them. It's not been validated. And then the women are amazing. They're like the throttle to that engine, right? Like they can kind of throttle it back and hey, you know, they kind of have that reason when they're really connected to their divine feminine. And so, it's a really beautiful, God-given relationship that we have, men and women. And there's a lot of wounding there. This conversation could go for hours, and there's a lot of different points to it. A lot of male scarring on women, and so they've lost their connection and they're angry, and it's the war of the sexes, and it's been going on ever since there's been more than two people on the planet. So I think at the end of the day, there needs to be some baselines, and I'm always going to be a man that stands for men, and calls out this war on masculinity that is here. It exists. Men are losing their testosterone levels. Their sperm counts are down. Man boobs is a thing. 70% of men are overweight, and so men, it's time to rise. I invite you to not get caught up in the rhetoric and the agendas and the political bullshit, and let's see. It's not about who you have sex with. It's not about how you dress. It's not about those things. It's about something much, much beautiful, much more deeper and beautiful in your soul. And it's guttural. It's down low, down in like kind of your sacrum vibe, your lower chakras, right? Your lower energy sources. That is guttural and even sexual. And being able to take those energies and really repurpose them and master them, that's the way of the peaceful warrior. And so reach out to me if this is a confusing subject for you. I get it. God, I get it. I've wrestled with this because I think we need to form a response badly. And so I rally you together as men and women to really form a response to this. Our men are not toxic. They're beautiful, they're wonderful, and they're needed in the world. Desperately, desperately needed for a hurting world. So let's rally around the conversation, keep it supportive, and really create. Let's just create, right? That's in a spirit of love, and that's in a spirit of boundaries, and really coming together in a place of mutual shared values. It's really all that is. So anyway, reach out to me if you have questions or if I can help. I'd love to hear your story. I do self-sabotage coaching, which is really in 3 sessions, pulling your mind, identifying the mind control that we're under and that we've been taught, and it's just been drilled into us. We can get tremendous lifelong freedom in that. And that is your birthright. That is not a gift. That is not a privilege. That is not good for some, good for others. That is your human, God-given birthright, to be free of mind, to have critical thinking, and to really live as royalty. That's who we are. Anyway, love you, Robin Reed.